Running a family can already be challenging, let alone a family running a business. We bring you to a family-owned winery sitting down with the Pascali family. They share their secrets to running a winery while cherishing the family bond. Stick around to find out about their trials and tribulations and how together they make this dream come true. An inspiring all-American story.
My grandfather had a small vineyard in Central California where I grew up, and I was out there on their farm all the time and lived out there. A good portion of my summers were just living there from when I was a toddler. And my grandpa would throw me on his lap, on the old tractor when he would disc the fields, when farmers still did that. He'd go up and down the rows, and I have pictures of that time, and I look back on them with just real fondness. I just have such good memories of growing up on that little ranch, and I wanted something like that for my kids. So my family background starts in Mosul, Iraq, where my great-grandmother lived with her husband, and I'm Assyrian, and they had vineyards there that they took care of and planted, and it was the Armenian, Assyrian, Greek genocide. And so when they fled, they came through Ellis Island as well, and they landed in Chicago, and then eventually migrated to Central California, where there's a huge Assyrian population in Turlock, California, where I grew up. They were all buying up little farms, that whatever they could afford to buy, and they would plant little vineyards.
Well, I think both of our family stories are pretty much family stories that are common to many Americans. I'm a first generation immigrant of Italian family. That my grandfather came to the United States before World War II with the idea of bringing his family over shortly thereafter. Obviously, the war started and intervened, so there were years of him being here and them being there, and all the struggles they had to go through. And then eventually after the war, the rest of my family migrated to the United States. As most families, they went through Ellis Island, and a lot of things that, both of our families went through. Like I said, it's just the American experience, and just to have been a part of that and to be a part of it at this point gives you a lot of appreciation what they went through during war. Lori's family was part of the genocide. And so, you don't go through those things personally, but you learn from them, from your family. And to me, you just have to take away from that the importance of family and, staying together and working together. Because what is there that's more important than that?
Mark and I, we love to be with our kids. We always preferred to vacation with our kids from the time they were very young, all the way growing up. We thought we had bought this beautiful property here, and it had this old vineyard on it that we were starting to just rehabilitate. And our kids were just interested in doing it with us. Our oldest son was in the Marines at the time and getting ready to be finished, and he was very interested in what we were doing here and wanting to, when he came back home, be involved in the vineyard. And we just have a lot of fun together. There's enough to do when it comes to growing and maintaining a vineyard, and making and bottling wine, and then selling it in a tasting room. There's enough things to do that everybody can kind of find their own niche, and each of them have. And so when we found this old vineyard, that had just been sitting here, for I don't know how many years it had been, but it just was calling out to us, like, help me, help me. and I wanted to help it, I wanted to help this old vineyard. The seasons of farming, there's something almost spiritual about it, and when it goes into dormancy, and then the pruning of it and the harvesting. I love the whole cycle of it. And I wanted my kids to learn to love that too, and I think they have.
I guess for us as a small vineyard, and now it's a boutique winery, you kind of felt like just the growing end of it, and then stopping there, you were kind of stopping short. I think it was a natural extension to want to then get into taking what you brewed and then to make it into the wine. Obviously, it takes a lot of effort to make good wine, and it takes a lot of people. And so I think that there's a certain amount of it's really the gratifying part of it necessarily isn't the money. I can tell you that in a small wine business, but it's producing a quality product. And it's like creating something when you see somebody taste it every time. It's almost, takes on an artistic form to it, like almost like you do a performance. It's like, are they gonna like it? And when they like it, it is a humbling feeling more than anything else, because you feel like you've worked with your family, you've worked with a group of people, and you've accomplished something that other people are enjoying.
So my time in the Marine Corps was 2018 to 2022. The winery didn't really exist when I first joined, but they created it while I was gone, and they were just opening right before I got back, and the opportunity was here for me to come in, and primarily initially was to do the viticulture work. But then shortly after I got back, I had the opportunity to go to school and train with some winemakers in the area as well and learn the winemaking.
A lot of people ask in the tasting room, customers that come in, members and things like that, oh, how do you like working for your family, working with your brothers, things like that, how does that go, how do you guys do it? And I tell a lot of people, like, of course we are a family and there's ups and downs in that regard, but overall it works really well for us, and we have our different strengths and weaknesses, and the way everything kind of comes together, we all kind of balance each other out in the perfect way. And so I find it's been really easy, and I don't think a lot of families can maybe say the same, but for us it's worked.
I mean, it's not always smooth. I mean, sometimes it's hard not to run the business like a family, even though we call it a family business. That's the hardest part of it, is intertwining the aspect of, it's already hard enough for a family to be close, as rewarding as it is, and then jumping into a business as family. You can't take those family aspects and like privileges you get from being like your son and like your little brother. Like it's hard sometimes as a family business not to take the privileges from a family and drop those when it comes to the business. And I think that's been a big learning curve.
Yeah, it's definitely different learning to work with each other as opposed to just being siblings. That's definitely a different dynamic.
Yeah, I think the great thing about the AVA is obviously being at the base of the foothills, going up to the mountains. You get great temperature changes, the diurnal change from day to night, and that's so impactful through the growing season to allow the grapes to warm up, heat up during the day, and then cool down at night. And then just the slopes and the rolling hills and the foothills here, and both out in the sunny slope, give you the opportunity to angle the fruit, to get your directional of your rows in certain ways that give you the ability to accentuate kind of the development of the fruit and how it's planted. Our soils here tend to be a little more clay than sand, but that has seemed to have served us very, very well. The soil is amazing. The Cab Franc and the Tempranillo we grow seem to just absolutely love the soil profiles that we have. They produce very rich, deep, bold varietals in both of them, and we do a lot during the pruning and through the pruning process, and then through the year with canopy management in order to kind of extract from the fruit what we want. Because in Idaho we have the concern of, will the growing season be shortened? So we try to manage the canopy in a way that it will hopefully progress the fruit to the point where the time it's ready for harvest, that we have the sugar levels and the acid levels that we feel are going to be optimal to produce the best wine.
For me, what I really like about the Cab Franc is it's light. It's a nice light red. So I think it's very approachable, and for people that are just kind of getting into drinking, especially reds, I think it's a nice one to kind of start with. It's not as heavy or bold as maybe a Cab Sauv. So I think the Cab Franc is a really nice light red, and it pairs nicely with a lot of things. So I think that's why I like it so much.
You know, the wine that I spend the most time with, because we're with it all year, and it is, well, that and the Tempranillo. We have some Syrah as well, but this is by far the most of what we grow. And I like the complexity of Cab Franc. It has great peppery notes, but it has really good fruit flavor as well. And yeah, no, just having the hands-on experience of it being our estate wine, the wine that got it all started. For us, this was a Cab Franc vineyard at its roots. Yeah, it's a very special, very personal wine.
I'm proud of it because there's such a family effort that went into it. You know, all of our hands have touched it, and then most importantly, I think my grandfather would love the wine. I think it would make him so happy.
Hi, I'm Tammy,
And I'm Jan.
and we are Spoken Wines.
Yeah, you know, it was Savor Idaho, which is the annual Idaho wine tasting extravaganza, where we discovered Rolling Hills, and they had this Cab Franc, which we were just blown away by. I think, in my opinion, one of the best of show. It has this fresh spice infused in these uplifting layers of red fruit that you couldn't stop drinking.
You know, Dan, the Cab Franc is one of the most versatile wines to pair with foods. So this Cab estate wine would go well with leaner meats or meats with red sauce or even spicy sauce. I like it with a pulled pork or with Jan's grilled lamb lollipops. Yum. If you're more on the vegetable side, this would go great with sauteed mushrooms with some balsamic or even eggplant parmesan. When we came into the tasting room, we were blown away with their sparkling spruzy. This is a sparkling rosé. It was so fun. It's got this bright acidity with this beautiful, beautiful bouquet of fruit. Rosés are really easy to pair as well. It goes with a lighter meat like chicken, or it's perfect with cured meat. So a charcuterie board would go really nice with this. But one of the things that I really like it with is a spinach salad with feta. Throw in some strawberries and sliced almonds, and it turns this into a fun summer event.
Yeah, rosé can connect so well with that.
Yes.
When you taste this Malbec, you can get a really good sense that Rolling Hills is well on their way to become a high quality winemaker. The fruit in this wine is focused and concentrated, and the finish is just so superbly balanced. It is incredible. Congratulations, Rolling Hills. And thank you. Thank you for opening your home and inviting us to hear your story. And thank you for the few glimpses that you gave us what it really takes to work together as a family, one family successfully. You can try these wines for yourself by going to our website at spokenwines.com, where we link you to their online order site so you can get these wines delivered to your front door.
We're Spoken Wines.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And that Malbec is fantastic. Have you tried it? It is really good.
I got the Cab Franc.
Oh, and it has already a tremendous finish. Yeah. It's good, isn't it?
Yes.